Hey, what's up guys? It's Greg and I'm back with another video, and we continue to go through my medical journey in this video series. At the end of the last video, we had just finished up with my first oncology appointment in St. Louis. We were starting to feel a little bit better because we at least knew we had a single treatment option in immunotherapy and a backup plan with the chemotherapy. So the very next day, I wake up and we didn't really have much planned that day. It was more just a hangout day. But probably after about an hour of being up, I started having shortness of breath again. So, we had been through this whole shortness of breath thing before, so we wasted no time in going to the ER. When we got to the ER, we told them my medical history and that the lung cancer was probably causing this. And we did a number of tests. We did a CT scan, chest x-ray, an echocardiogram. And it's what we thought. This time the fluid had returned to my lungs. It was actually just one lung at the time, which is a good thing we came in early, because instead of having to treat fluid in the heart and the lungs, we just had the fluid in a single lung, which is a lot easier to handle and to treat. So during the procedure, the pulmonologist used this extremely long, it was almost like a wire, but it was a needle, and he basically pierced me in the lower back and then fed the needle all the way through all the other parts of my body and all the muscle and tissue to the inside of the lung cavity. Once that happened, it was basically almost like a machine that they had that was going to suck the fluid out of the lungs. I will say that when he, stuck me with the needle and the needle made it to that internal lining of the lungs, it was probably one of the most painful, things that I have experienced in my journey. There have been other things, but this definitely stands out as one of them. Apparently the inside of the lungs there's high concentrations of nerve endings. So when you pierce it, it's gonna hurt pretty bad. So as the needle's in me, he's running, it's almost like a vacuum, but it's sucking the fluid out into a container. And there's actually quite a bit. It's a weird feeling because you're feeling just the fluid, coming out of you from the back, and you're feeling the pressure, be relieved from your stomach and chest. So that was good. It was providing relief. Obviously, it was painful to do this, but we were able to successfully remove the fluid, and I was able to go home. Now, that day, I don't think I actually realized how disappointing this development was. It had been about 2 weeks since I had been in the hospital with the initial admittance and all the fluid. So that means that it took about 2 weeks for the fluid to start to return. And I didn't really put this together at the time, but this was a good indication that immunotherapy may not work. If this is the case, if fluid's coming back, every other week or so. So moving on, it was a very uneventful weekend. Moving on to the next week, we finally got the genetic testing results from the tumor. And unfortunately, it came back negative for any mutations that could be treated with a targeted therapy. So at this point, we're kind of up against the wall again. We pretty much are left with two treatment options: immunotherapy and chemo and the radiation regimen. What made it difficult was the fluid that had came back the week before. It gave us some pause, regarding the decision to move forward with immunotherapy. But after talking it over with my oncologist, he believed that the risk was worth the reward. And I completely agree. I haven't told many people this, but to do chemo and radiation and give myself a year really doesn't mean much to me, because I was only 28 at the time. It wasn't like I was trying to last another 1 to 2 years to see my kids graduate or to see my grandkids, like a lot of lung cancer patients are faced with. For me, it was, I don't even have any of those things because I'm so young. So just one more year isn't going to change any of that. My college and myself both went into this with, the number one priority was for prolonged long-term survival. And if there was a risk to go with immunotherapy, I didn't care. So we made the decision to move forward with immunotherapy that week. I would be doing treatment the following week. So I'm going to go ahead and leave off here today, and we'll be getting into my first round of treatment in the next video. And that does it for today. So once again, I hope you're enjoying the video series. Any comments, questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video.